That's crazy. Oh, he doesn't like him. There's a bear. He doesn't like that, boy. Light him up. Yep. Send him packing, boy. Good man. Good man. Light him up. Light him up, boy. He was cruising for the garbage, boy. Saw a bear the other day, right outside my front door, on my birthday, of all days. I don't personally think or know that there's any significance to something like that, but you know, it always, of course, bears in general, but it always makes me think about my dad and signs and superstition, things like that. He was a really superstitious person. So things like that would have mattered to him. Whenever I think about his journey, his life, you go back to the 80s. I mean, it all started with the bear encounter, right? That's what started everything. So it just makes you think. It made me think. Looking right at me, you know. 32nd birthday, there's a bear on your doorstep. And you look back on the early 80s, the early 90s, premonition dreams, and Project Grizzly. We spoke about that. Speaking of superstition, there's this scene in the movie where he talks about hitting the K, and it was a premonition dream that he spoke of, and if he dreamt this recurring dream, it foretold danger and that he was going to die the next day. I remember there was a few stories here and there, because I asked him about it. There was one time somewhere on the Missinabie, I guess he was doing some portaging, things like that, when he was a lot younger. And he had this premonition dream, and he ignored it, and something bad happened that day, and I guess he went over the canoe or whatever they were doing, and he drowned, went fully unconscious. And the crew that he was with, they were able to drag him out of the rapids, mouth to mouth, whatever, puke up a bunch of water, and he's back. So, following that moment where he almost died, I don't know if he ignored it again, but he hit it 2 more times. One time, he spoke of it during Project Grizzly, and there was a time as well they were supposed to go do something, him and Captain Keith Cunningham, and it was a bad snowstorm, so in Ontario in the early 90s, and he woke up that morning and he'd hit it, and he's like, we're not doing it. I think about that and what that would have meant for him, seeing a bear again. When you have an encounter like that, something that changes your life and that propels you forward in a way that you never thought about, I wonder if it had any meaning to him later on, because it seemed intermittent in a way, and I've always struggled with it. He was very superstitious, at times religious, at times just angry, but those things would influence him. They'd influence his decision making. So I always wonder what he thought about when he come face to face with a bear again. This was just a black bear that was outside my door. I'm in Ontario. It's not like a grizzly or something. It was just a black bear. So again, I don't think there's anything significant to that, but it made me think. Whenever I see the bear, I'm drinking a bear right now. You know what I mean? Whenever you see a bear, the animal, it's outside my door, it makes me think of him. It's like I'm brought back to it in a strange way, to my childhood and growing up with him. And the movie and the meaning behind it all, and that's what this is again, is we're looking for the meaning. The hidden meaning, not the obvious meaning. Because his life went in so many different directions. It didn't stay constant. The bear did, in a way. It's not something that I was thinking about before. At the end of August here, I'm always thinking about my dad. But you see the bear again on your birthday night. If I was a superstitious person in some way, it almost feels like he's reaching out in a weird way. And then you dig through the archives, and it brings up the memories of my life with him, and it makes me think, and I come do something like this and air out my thoughts. It makes me think about things that he said before, the superstition, what it all means. But beyond that, the point that I'm getting to is you think about a higher power, in a way. Whatever that means to you. It could be the universe, it could be God, the God. There's many different religious texts and beliefs and whatever you believe in. A lot of people believe in a higher power or a creator. Some people believe in destiny, a will behind all of it, pushing people forward. He believed in something like that. Maybe there was a plan, a purpose. Maybe it was random, but at the same time, certain things happen in your life, and certainly in his, where it makes you kind of tip your head, and you go, if that's, I call it the cosmic dice roll. If that's the cosmic dice roll, if it's just random, if it's just chance, that seems a little weird. And there were so many times in his life where things would happen, good things, bad things, and you just go, that's funny, you know? Maybe I'm paying it too much attention. It's just kind of got my mind in a bit of a whirlwind. It's always so strange. You know, I thought I'd been doing this for about the last year now, and I thought I dealt with a lot. And then last night, you know, you look out the front door and there's a bear standing there, like, just looking at you. And of course, the connotations behind all of that of, you know, with my own life and my father, it hit me hard. So I had another something planned, but I had to come out and I had to shoot this, and I'm not even quite sure where it's going. But maybe that's the point of it all, you know? I don't think my dad ever knew where he was going either. There was never a singular goal overall. It seemed like there was. A lot of people spoke about the determination, the things he wanted, but I don't think he ever knew. There was a randomness to the nature, almost erratic, and it feels like I'm doing that justice in a strange way if I shoot the videos like this, where at times they're less focused and more random and there's no notes, and it's just my own thoughts being aired to the world. And he would do that a lot as well, and I wonder how much of that influenced me. With the bear, you know, he always called it the old man, which is funny. I don't know if that was a reference to his father or what, or something that he saw, and then I started calling him the old man, and I guess I'm seeing the old man everywhere now. But it makes you wonder, you know, about the point of it all, the purpose. Is there a purpose? Is it all random? And then, if you believe there's a purpose to it, maybe you believe you're destined for something, usually greatness, and there's an otherworldly power, sometimes God, looking out for you, helping you. I wonder what that does to your brain, the psychology, your decision making. It's not something I've ever thought about. I've never been a very superstitious or religious person. I'm a writer, so there's a natural creativity there where I entertain the idea, but, you know, I've always leaned more towards what science says. But at the same time, they don't know everything either, right? And it just keeps coming back full circle to purpose, superstition, meaning, what's it all about, the metaphor. I just felt like this was right to do this, because there's a random nature to it, where there's not always a point, and there wasn't always a point with him, with the things that he did. Some of it was whimsical, but to the average person, it would look like there was a point to it. And getting to my point, again with that, was just how much of those moments, maybe it doesn't matter to someone. You see a bear on your doorstep, whatever, it's just a bear. There's a logical explanation for it. But at the same time, throughout human history, for thousands of years, people have taken signs, taken meaning from them, and it's influenced their decision making, where you could look at it and go, had he not been attacked by a bear in the woods, this wouldn't have happened, and this wouldn't have happened, and this movie would have never happened, and he never would have come to North Bay, and he never would have had me, and here we are, 32 years later, as I just turned 32, here I am on that trail. It just makes you think about the meaning of it all, and if there is more. And it really made me think. Might mean nothing, but at the same time, it could mean everything. Just kind of caught between that now. It's interesting to think about.